Good morning, guys. How is everyone out there? Awesome. For those of you that may not know, I'm Mike Zanoli. I'm the Market Center Tech Trainer. I'm a 5-time member of the ALC and a capping agent in Montgomeryville Market Center. Today's class, we're going to touch on something not technology for once. And we're going to go into, how to gain your client's trust. Pretty important topic. However, first, we have a special guest here in the office today, right now. It is not Dan Bixler.
Never.
It is Matt DeForge from Loan Depot. And I'm going to turn my screen here and let Matt say a few words.
Hi there, guys. Matt with Loan Depot. One of two mortgage professionals that come into the office from time to time. Always here to answer any questions you need or help with any client pre-quals, and maybe throw out a sentence or two during the meeting. We'll see how it goes. Nice to meet you all.
Awesome, guys. So I'm going to share my screen here. Bear with me because for some reason, every call I do, I forget how to do it. Could be the big green share screen button there. All right. So today's class, gaining your client's trust. I'm going to start off with this statement here. As soon as I can get this bubble out of the way. All right. So about the class, I'm a leader in the Market Center and I've been in real estate for over 12 years in different capacities. And from my experience, trust is the cornerstone of every relationship. With that information, or with the information I'm about to share, you'll feel confident knowing that you have gained your client's trust. So we'll come back to that. First, we're going to go back to Meet the Parents. Oh, it is not available.
Friends would walk up to me.
Oh, that's a good one to put up there.
Yeah, that is not. All right, guys, we're gonna.
That was just Matt.
We are going to skip the video here because it looks like the link is broken. My apologies, guys. So what is trust? According to the Oxford Dictionary, trust is the firm belief in reliability, truth, ability, or strength of something or someone. Dictionary.com defines trust as the reliance on the integrity, strength, ability, surety, etc. of a person or thing. Confidence. For instance, we can trust an object. Every day we drive over bridges. We trust that the bridge holds up. Every day we trust in people. In your businesses, there are plenty of people like loan officers that we trust to get their job done in order for us to get to the finish line, right? So this brings us to the trust triangle. And I don't know if anybody has researched any of this, but I was lucky enough to attend a presentation with Keller Williams, solely focused on the trust triangle. So we have three sides. The bottom, we have authenticity. And that is, I experience the real you. And authenticity is hugely important in gaining your client's trust. If you've ever fielded a phone call from a classmate or somebody and they go, "Hi, this is a business call. I just got into insurance and I want to," you can tell they're reading a script. You can tell when people are acting. Sometimes people try to be too professional or too polished when the situation doesn't call for it. So be unapologetically you. If you have a truck driver mouth, you might want to filter some of that out, but your personality, make sure you do everything with your personality. The second side of this is logic. Logic tells people, I know you can do it. Your reasoning is sound. Your judgments are sound. So right now, logic would be, you ask your client if they have a decent credit score and they just volunteer, yeah, it's been on the up and up. It's about a 540. Logic is going to dictate that they can't get a loan. Or, you should maybe take that information and change it and get them into credit repair or something, so they'll be able to get, realize their dreams later. I've done this a few times before. And it's sometimes as quick as 3 months with the credit repair. You get somebody with low credit just because they have none, get them a gas card, 3 months later, they have a 640 credit score and you're ready to go.
If I may interject, I think one of the biggest things about gaining your client's trust is being able to set them on a path. Now, whether that's being able to immediately help them or to set them on a path where you can eventually help them, kind of like you're saying with the credit repair.
Yeah.
We do that a lot. And just them coming to you and not hitting a brick wall and you kind of guiding them and leading them along, that client's coming back to you almost every time.
Absolutely. So the third is empathy. And empathy is it's the belief that you care about, or that you care about me, right? And that you understand their situation. Again, with the credit repair thing is, it may be something unknown in their credit score or whatever, but you can put out a statement and like, hey, yeah, it's unfortunate that we uncovered this, but let's see what we can do to replace it. So we actually, in that sentence, used empathy and logic along with your personality to make it authentic. Does that make sense? So, and you guys online, I can't see you at all. So if you need to interject or you want to say something, just take yourself off mute and interrupt. So, all right, let's get philosophical. Has anyone heard of ethos, pathos, and logos? Dan has. Everyone has. Who first wrote about ethos, pathos, and logos?
Some smart dude.
Some smart dude is right.
Pythagoras was the math guy, so wait a minute. I know he's Greek, right?
He is
But
Greek. We got Greek. And anyone online? What's that? Pythagoras. Pythagoras was the guy in the cave that actually did triangles. Actually, Pythagoras triangles? Yeah, he was.
He was the math guy.
He was the math guy. Socrates, we're getting close. Okay. Aristotle is the answer. So Aristotle in 530 BC wrote and taught about ethos, pathos, and logos. So ethos, since these are all Greek root words, what does ethos stand for? It actually says it on there.
Credibility and ethics.
Credibility and ethics.
Smart. I can read.
Ethos and ethics, you see the same root there. Pathos is emotions and feelings. When we talk about empathy, the path in empathy is the root of feeling. EM, the prefix EM would be to be, and then path would be to feel. So this is to be feeling, or you feel for someone, empathy. And then last we have logos, which is logic and reason. And that's the word is pretty close there. So I'm going to go back to our ethos, pathos, and logos, and we're going to go back to our trust triangle here. We already have logos, logic. We already have pathos, empathy, and then we have logos, logic. Or I'm sorry, ethos would be your authenticity. So when we're confronted with any objections and things like that in our business, or we want to get ahead of objections, we can take these three pillars, these three sides of the triangle, and craft an argument or a rebuttal or a statement that fits all three. And if you hit on all three, it's really difficult for somebody to come back and say otherwise. So again, with the ethos, pathos, and logos, we'll get back to what I was just talking about. Ethos appeals to the speaker's status or authority, making the audience more likely to trust them. Logos applies to the audience reason, building up a logical argument. And then pathos, feeling, it appeals to emotions, you're trying to make the audience feel angry or sympathetic or something. So let's put this all together. Remember at the beginning of the class, I read you that statement. I'm a leader in the market center, and I've been in real estate for over 12 years in different capacities. Capacities. There's your ethos. And from my experience, trust is the cornerstone of every relationship. Logos, logic. With the information I'm about to share, you will feel confident knowing that you have your client's trust. That evokes emotion, feel. It actually says it in the sentence. So it's now your turn. So we're going to take 5 minutes. Do you want to grab paper or something? Sure. And a pen? All right. Guys, we're going to take a 30-second break while some people here at the office grab some paper. But if you want to start ahead, we're going to craft a sentence or two or three on any one of the following situations. So the first situation is a seller is asking for 4% commission in your meeting, in your listing presentation. The second one we could try is a client states that they're interviewing 2 other agents. And if you don't want to do real estate related things, we can craft an argument on you need a new car and you want to convince your spouse. So I'm going to go over this again because everybody just came back in the room with paper. So we're going to make a statement again using all 3 cornerstones of the trust triangle. And while we're doing this, I'll put them back up on the screen so you can see them. So our first situation is I want you to rebut or handle this objection using all 3 positions. A seller's asking for a 4% commission in your listing presentation. The second one you could do is a client states they're interviewing 2 other agents. And the third one would be if you need inspiration outside of real estate, craft an argument on why you need a new car and you want to convince your spouse. Is it better if I leave this up or the triangle itself?
We need both, actually.
I can't do
Let
both,
me write it
but I
down
can
yes,
toggle
question.
between. You want the question?
Yes, for a second, please. Thank you.
Okay. So we're going to make a statement using all 3 corners of the trust triangle. And one is the 4% commission. You can choose one of these.
One of these.
You can choose one of these, yeah. A client says they're going to interview 2 other agents, or you need a new car and you need to convince your spouse.
Okay, so we can go back to this.
So we'll go back to the ethos, pathos, and logos. I should have queued up some Jeopardy music. And for those of you online, if you need me to toggle back to another screen, just speak up. We got one done in the room.
Jesus. Terrible handwriting, that's why.
We have a former teacher writing half a page. We're grading for grammar, guys. I went to Catholic school, so it better be the old way. No comma splices. All right, we'll give it one more minute. I see sweat beading on Dan's forehead. The pressure. All right, so it's if you guys aren't finished, that's cool. Continue writing. If not, so I'm gonna take a stab at this off the top of my head here. I am going to put in, and we're gonna ask a few people to share, but I'm gonna put in mine real quick. So I'm going to tackle the. I need a new car and I need to convince my wife. So. Hey, I was thinking about getting a new car. You know, we've kind of limped this thing through with repairs over the past few years, and the cost of the repairs are starting to become more than what a new car payment would be. And the last thing I would want to do is see how upset we would be when the car breaks down as we're driving to the shore this summer. Did I hit everything? I think I did. The logic was the repairs are starting to cost more than what a new car payment would be. The feeling would be the fact that how angry or upset we would be if the car broke down as we're driving to the shore this summer. And I actually missed the ethics, the ethos. And that would be, maybe I could add something in there is, you know, how much I like to scrimp on our budget. But this is necessary now. So anyone else want to share? Antonio.
I'll do the third one as well. Oh, hi, everybody. All right, so, honey, I know we've been wanting to downsize and look for a new place to live, and you're right. The space, where am I? And you're right, we do. We don't need all this space, especially with no reason for it, since we're retired and we have no kids. And I know how much you love to travel, so congrats on your new Winnebago adventure. By the way, we're listing Friday.
That was good.
Love you for that one.
She's gonna love you for everything except for, by the way, we're listening on Friday. She might be part of that decision there. But anyways, no, that was good. Bo, you wanna go? Bo, Matt.
Either one. Interchangeable. Mine's kind of short, sweet, to the
Sure.
point. I just said, I've had many cars and I know a bit about them. Our current car is very high mileage, will need to be replaced soon. And you'll be so happy when we have a new, reliable, and really fancy car.
Awesome. That right there is perfect. Because you had the credibility, you had the logic, and then the feeling. So I can't see anyone online. Does anyone want to share online? Do we have anyone online? I don't think we do.
That was nice.
Oh, Denise. Did you want to share? Like I said, I can't quite see who's online. All right. Well, with that, we'll move on to the second half of this. The trust chain. So trust has links, and every piece of trust you need to maintain. So I kind of came up with a list of maybe 9 major things that we want to look for in our relationships with our clients. So the first, be transparent. Don't hide your motives. For instance, this morning, I'll back up. Last night, I put in an offer with a for sale by owner. He sent me an email that they're going to accept it and they'll fill out the paper. They'll finish the paperwork tonight. This morning, I woke up to an email from him asking more questions about the deal. He still has not signed it yet. So being transparent is me calling my client and saying, hey, remember when they verbally said that they were going to accept, just so you know, they're asking more questions and I'm trying to, quell their fears with everything. So it was not a happy phone call to make because like I said, last night, they said they were accepting and, I told them that. So I had to suck it up and call them and just say, hey, look, they haven't signed yet. They're having some questions about X, Y, and Z. I'm working on handling their objections. I don't mean to make you panic, but I think they would hang me if I waited all day. And at the end of the day, if this deal blows apart, who's going to look like the fool for not saying anything? This guy. This is a big one for real. This one's a big, huge, massive one for realtors. Be on time. There is literally a stereotype out there that nearly everyone over the age of 30 knows is that realtors are always late.
Oh, we know.
We're not always late, but there's the stereotype that we're always late. There's that stigma out there. And yes, a lot of realtors are late. Be on time. Do whatever you can to be on time. I aim to be at appointments and showings 15 minutes beforehand. That way, if traffic gets in the way, if I have to pick up a call or whatever it is, it's there. However, if in the once in a blue moon you are late, call. Don't make up an excuse. All you need to do is if you have a showing at 4 and you look at your GPS and it says 4:05, give them a call real quick and say, hey, I'm running a few minutes behind. No excuse, no other, oh, traffic was bad, or oh, my dog made a mess before leaving the house. They don't need to know that. And most people don't care. Just say, hey, look, I'm running a few minutes behind. My apologies, and move on. Chances are they're never going to remember that you were 5 minutes late. You didn't draw attention to it. And the more attention you draw to it with a story, as true as it may be, your dog may have gotten sick on the carpet 5 minutes before you're leaving. But you don't need to draw attention to that. Your relationship is there for the client and selling the house. You don't want them remembering that you were late because the dog threw up. So the big one is don't make up excuses. Anyway, be respectful to everyone. When you're with clients, don't complain about other clients. I hear this all the time where, oh yeah, my other client, they did this X, Y, and Z. And even though you're not divulging a name or whatever, what the client sees is that if you're complaining about other clients to them, that means you're complaining about them to other clients. So make sure that you're respectful of your clients in front of other clients. Set expectations up front and in writing. Who does this? Pre-approval letter. What about if you go on a listing appointment and they say, yes, we want you to be our agent, and you send them an email about expectations? Hey, I don't, I'm available from 9 a.m. till 9 p.m. I don't answer the phone before 9. I don't answer the phone after 9 p.m. What kind of expectations does it set with somebody?
Want to call you?
They want to call you. They want you to reply to emails at 6:30 in the morning. And granted, you may be up, but that's your time. That's your sacred time. You don't, you're getting you ready and your family ready for the day. And then after 9, you're getting your family ready and yourself ready for bed. You owe it to yourself to put those expectations out there, especially the time thing. We're the only business where after hours, we're expected to be readily available. If you have a question for your accountant at 8:30 at night, does your accountant answer the phone? Does your doctor answer the phone? Does your financial planner answer the phone? Your mechanic? You name it. After their hours, they have those expectations. Your accountant is there from 9 to 5:30 or whatever it is. After 5:30, leave a message.
Yeah, I don't believe this 5:30 works because if
I
people,
know, but if
especially with buyers who have to
with
work.
exactly
20 hours.
but figure out what that works, what that means to you. If that's, I try my best to answer the phone between 9 and 9. And mine are, I have mine set from 9 to 7. As long as it's not, if we're negotiating and it's the last day of the inspection negotiation period, and we're trying to nail something down, I'll be there for you. But after 7 p.m., I may or may not be there.
I just don't reply to the messages because they do this anyway.
Exactly. But if you set these expectations up front and just say, hey, look, I work from 9 to 7. There will be times where, I may answer a quick email at 10 o'clock at night, but that doesn't mean I'm always accessible at those times.
Yeah, that,
You know what I mean?
Less chance that they'll bombard you.
That sounds
at that
better.
time.
Exactly. And, if you say that, they'll respect you as a human being and not a robot that's opening doors for them for homes.
yeah.
So, all right, moving on. Next, we have follow up. Do what you say we will do. If you tell a client when they ask you about something, you're in a showing or whatever, they ask you a question and you go, you know what? I'm not real sure. Let me get back to you on that tomorrow. Get back to them tomorrow. And if you're having trouble getting the answer, call them that next day and just say, hey, look, I'm working on this. I spoke to my broker. We're trying to get you an answer, but it might just be another hour or we're waiting on somebody X, Y, Z person to call you back, right? So be there for your client and not for your paycheck. And this is a tough one to do, especially for newer agents. That deal is, the mortgages next month is hinged upon that deal going through. If you were there for your client and not for the money, I promise you'll get more money. You will get more referrals down the line, and a short-term financial crisis will turn into a boon. But just, make sure that keep your eye on the client first. Getting them to their goals is going to be a bigger payday for you than collecting that one paycheck. I see, in fact, I was just dealing with a turn and burn agent. They're the ones that they call up expireds and FSBOs, and they just run through the phone book and cold call, and they just get anybody they can to sell or buy a house. And they do it, and they just rubber stamp them out the door. They pass them off to this person, transaction's over, and they don't even show up to settlement. They have their check mailed to them. They typically don't get referrals. They're in there. They're there for the paycheck. They're there for the kill is done when somebody agrees to list with you. and they don't care what happens after that. Be that person that's there for the client. If your mortgage is dependent upon that next deal and they want to cancel it because of bad inspections, don't try and convince them to push the deal forward unless you're looking at that inspection report and it's perfectly good. And there's no reason for them to be bailing out, but just make sure that you're there for your client first and foremost. Know your limits. If you don't know the answer, let it be known, then go find the answer. That's the difference between a smart person and an intelligent person. A smart person knows things. An intelligent person knows when they don't know things. You're not trying to make up the answer. You're not trying to BS anybody. People pick up on this stuff. If you don't know the answer, use this script. You know what? That's a good question. I'm not 100% sure on that. Let me check with my broker. I'll get back to you in a little bit. I'll get back to you tomorrow morning.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with it. People do it. Doctors do it all the time.
I do it a lot.
They're yeah. So, but people appreciate when you know your limits and you stay in your lane. For instance, especially like home, when you're at a home inspection and there's a crack in the basement wall or something, and I mean, you're not a structural engineer, you're not a concrete professional or a builder, or you don't have that expertise and that skill set to say, oh, that's probably just minor, or oh, the house is going to fall down. That's hey, you know what? Let me take a picture of this and send it to my home inspector or send it to my engineer or whatever. They'll be able to give us a little bit of a better answer. Admit when you're wrong and ethically correct it. What does this mean? If by chance you may have given the wrong advice or said something, give an opinion on something that might not be 100% true, and these are things that we think are correct, but then we find out later that maybe we were wrong. Just make sure that you go to your client and say, hey, you know what? Remember when I said this? I was wrong on it. This is what it should be. Nobody's perfect. They will respect you for correcting your own mistake.
I actually have a recent example of that.
Yeah.
I actually told one of my clients who was looking for an investment property that he needed 25% down on an investment property on the conventional loan. And then I looked up the guideline, and 25% is only necessary for multi-unit buildings. So if you have a single family that's an investment property, you can only be 20% down.
Yeah.
I had to call him and say, hey, I was wrong.
And the first statement you made, you based on what you felt was true. You weren't trying to lie or BS or whatever, but as you dug into the information more, you realized your mistake and you called him right back and said, hey, you know what? My bad. This is what it is.
Correct. When he's going to live in 1 minute and rent the rest, so it's different scenarios. So
Oh, yeah.
it's very
And he was very happy. He didn't really mind that I made a mistake. He was like, oh, that's great here.
Yeah.
Well, it helps when you go down, right?
The problem I have
Let's not
recently, because we have so many unethical agents. They're trying to steal clients, they're trying to talk bad about other agents, saying, like I took the example, oh, I have 15 years of experience, she only has 8. And I called this agent and I said, you know what? My buyer told me this, that you said that. And you know what?
Yeah.
It's very typical for agents to say. He didn't make it up.
Yeah.
She wanted to go under the ground, bury herself under the ground. I said, you know what? You told this to my client. It's not ethical.
Right.
By the way, I'm working with them and I know that you've been showing him houses after you knew that I'm working with them.
Right.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, I know about this. So I don't know how to go about this so people can be aware of that, this can lead to many problem in the future, and they might be a witness somewhere in a court so we can find about the commission. I don't even know how to stress enough.
The only thing you can control is yourself. And the agent to agent thing is a completely different conversation on that, but it can be challenging. But so the last portion of this is connect with your client on a personal level. The meaning of a relationship in business is, to me, it's no different than a personal relationship. It's no different, if you're friends with somebody, or on a personal level, you want to know about their family, you want to know what about their life, and maybe we ask questions when you meet somebody at a party or whatever. You ask probing questions about their life. It's okay to do this with your clients. One of the good things is you'll find some common ground: hobbies, interests, TV shows, whatever that might be. The transaction should not always be about business, and gaining your client's trust. If it's just business, their trust is only going to go so far. But if it's personal business, like I make it a point to make every client a friend of mine and connect with them on that level. Because if they consider you a friend, then you're just not getting real estate advice, you're getting personal advice. It's different, even though it's the same thing. It's the way they perceive it. So, and I don't do this on purpose. Like, I truly want to have that relationship with my clients and people I work with.
Everyone.
Yeah. You know me, I'll talk to a wall. But you really you want to make this personal. Anyway, with the common interests, people inherently like and trust people similar to themselves, and none of us are the same. But if you do have that one thing in your personal life that connects you, whether that's music, television, golf, a hobby, children, religious beliefs, whatever it might be, it's a good way to connect with your client. One way to start is with the Ford principles. If anyone was with my class last Friday when I did Crushing It with Scripts, we talked about the Ford principles, and that's asking about family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Again, like I said, the transaction doesn't always have to be about business. I literally start my listing presentations with this. After I ask them, tell me about the house. I ask them about their family. What do you do for a living? What do you guys like to, where do you like to go on vacation? What do you guys like to do outside of work? And then, what are your goals? What's the end game here? Is this you retiring in the house? And part of it is, you'll find out their dreams, and their dreams might be, oh, we're going to live here for 10 years. Our big goal is to move to Florida, or, whatever that might be. But don't be afraid to get personal.
It also works great for small talk and dating.
It does. Yes. Antonio says it works for small talk and dating.
Yeah, sometimes you have to feel if people are willing to do this, because sometimes they like, because okay, I want to do business. So it's
And with that, you have to read the room.
right.
There are a handful, and I've run into them. There are a very small handful of people that they want the business relationship, and that's it.
Yeah.
They're quiet,
And they will
so
let us know.
when you get that hint, you have to approach it accordingly, right? If they want that business, then stick to business. There's some people just wired for it.
I've actually had somebody like that a year ago. That's the thing, like he didn't really want to, same thing like you're saying, he doesn't want to take part in any of that. But I still feel it's doing it just gently enough so they see you as a person instead of a corporation.
Exactly.
Just enough to have a personal touch to the
Exactly.
transaction.
And then I'll leave you with this. In any buyer listing presentation, I go in with the intention of winning their trust and not the listing or not the buyer. I don't even ask people to work for me. I literally assume it by the end of the meeting. So, strive to win their trust. find that connection, find what you need. If you win their trust, you already have the business. You don't even have to ask for it. They will just say, whoa, well, when do you want to schedule photos? When can you have the house ready? 2 weeks? Great. What about next Thursday or 2 Thursdays from now? That gives you 2 weekends to get the house ready and a few extra days. Perfect. That's how a listing presentation should go. Or a buyer presentation is, oh, well, when can we, at the end of the meeting, you've gained their trust and they ask you, well, when can we start looking at homes? Right after we get a pre-approval. That's it. If you gain their trust, you have their business. And then the rest is maintaining that trust. So, questions? Comments? Any ahas?
I do something similar to, I guess my version of gaining people's trust and just kind of starting out the conversation along that path is I end almost every conversation with borrowers of mine or new applicants or whomever. I always say, let me know if I can help. I look forward to helping you find a home. I look, things like that. Don't ever pressure them. Just say, hey, this is what it is. Be happy to help. You can always explore new options. Just try to incorporate that as a statement to whomever I'm talking to client-wise.
Awesome.
It seems to work.
Awesome. Any questions for those of you guys that are online? No?
I think trust goes a long way, especially when you have to email them over certain documents like the BFI, and that just kind of blindsides them almost. Like, and they always ask, why do I need this if I'm already pre-approved and everything?
Why do
So
we have to have it in Pennsylvania BFI? It's so, people are so annoyed by
Intrusive.
this.
Not everywhere. Allentown doesn't require it.
Oh, really?
The buyer's financial form?
Mhm.
I require, here's the thing, I require it for all of my buyers. We're talking about the buyer's financial form. I require a pre-approval to see homes. I require a buyer's financial to make an offer.
Mhm.
No ifs, ands, or buts.
So you ask for the BFI before you show homes?
I don't ask.
For the offer?
Not before I show homes, for an offer, but I do, before I show homes, I actually have them sign all of the buyer paperwork up front. And the way I explain it is it's an extremely competitive market. You're gonna have to sign these documents anyway. If we have them done now, we can make an offer within a half an hour of that decision
Mhm.
if this stuff is done, but I cannot make an offer without this paperwork being complete. And I don't give them a choice. They're paying you to lead them. And if you ask them, well, to fill this out, they have the ability to say no. If you tell them to fill this out, they're going to do it.
Okay.
It's
so
just
what
like
do they
in the
say?
mortgage world. Yeah, I know you guys get this all the time. Hey, I just pulled my credit on Experian. It's a 772. I don't want you to run my credit. Can you get me a pre-approval? And the answer is no.
Absolutely not.
Can you run some numbers for me?
Sure. But I can't give you anything.
You could say
concrete.
yes, but they're not going to be accurate without having the specific score, because you guys look at not only the score, but certain histories in the credit. You can have you have a decent score and a late on a bill within the past 12 months that may preclude you from obtaining certain loans.
Mhm.
So even though your credit score might be like a 710, it used to be an 810 until you paid your credit card late just the once.
Yeah.
And that brought it down to an acceptable score, but you still can't get a mortgage because of that payment.
And going back to the BFI, because I actually have this question about your industry. I haven't had a whole lot of experience with the BFI, but I have noticed we do something called a pre-qualification letter, and then we do a pre-approval letter. And the pre-approval, different companies call them different things, and some don't even differentiate between them. But the pre-approval will say, income is documented, credit is documented, whatever is documented or verbal.
Right.
It has everything listed. Does that count as a BFI? Would you take that as a BFI, or is that not something that you?
No, we want, the BFI, we present to a seller, and it's an affidavit from the buyer that says, we have this much cash, we have this much debt, and we make this amount of money. Now, they can, in theory, lie on that and present it, but let's just say they lie, and then we get into the mortgage process, and all of a sudden, they're not able to get the loan because either they don't have enough money or they overstated their income or whatever. So now we have that affidavit and said, oh, well, you said you had this money, but you don't. Or you said you make this money, but you don't. Or you said you had this amount of debt, but it's different. That is and if that transaction blows up, now, because the mortgage contingency clause, they would normally be able to get that deposit back. But now, because the affidavit, they lied on the affidavit or presented false information on the affidavit, they may not get that deposit back.
So it's a protection for the seller. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So
sometimes
long-winded.
buyers don't know if all the income can be counted. Like I had a nurse before.
Correct.
She had the situation with her income.
She may work
And they
two
told
part-time
me
jobs.
Not all the income can be
Yeah.
used for your pre-approval, so they may not know about this.
So, hey, for you guys online, that's it. We're just kind of chit-chatting on some off topics here. So if you guys need to bounce, that's good. If you guys want to stay and listen for a few minutes, that's good too. So I want to thank everyone for coming, and hopefully you found some value on this, and you can build some better relationships and get your clients' trust earlier and bigger.
Thanks, Mike. Very helpful.
You're welcome.
See y'all.
So, anything else? I think we're good. That was a nice small group.
I learned something today. So.
Beautiful. Awesome. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up officially. Thanks for coming.